Bird and Bryant Funster out here. We're getting ready to show you a very short dynamic warm-up for you athletes that are time crunched and like to just head right out the door without ever going through any sort of range of motion, muscle activation, or dynamic flexibility work. So what we're going to show you is a very quick workout you can do around 5 minutes time. Give you no excuses to not get that body a little more properly warmed up before you head out the door. So Dale, rock and roll, buddy. Starting off with some light jogging. Most of the stuff will take place. Your available area is going to determine how far you're going, but typically 15, 20 yards or so. Complementing that with a back pedal, heading into some skips. A lot of coordination involved with the skipping. It also helps to program that proper good ground contact. This whole time Dale's going to be maintaining a dorsiflex foot, which means he's pulling it up towards the shin, landing on the ball of the foot. He's now moving into a side slide, making sure he's not twisting at the hips, he's not twisting the shoulders, he's not twisting the feet. Everything's perpendicular to direction of travel. And now he's going into some arm hugs, starting to loosen that upper body up, activating those muscles. And some long arm swings. The amount of time you have can determine how many of the times you repeat this. But typically you want to shoot for anywhere between 5 and 10 of each of these. Forward circles with those arms, keeping those palms up, and now he's moved into some backward circles. Going back into the side slides, activating those hips, really starting to warm up the lateral movement muscles that are going to be involved with stabilization of the knee. Nice wide base here, wide hands. He's going into a trunk twist. He's trying to take the knees and hips out of this and make sure that most of that twist is coming through the core. And now he's going into trunk circles. He's going right forward, left back, maintaining a nice straight back, especially when he's shooting those hips backwards. You want to make sure you prevent rolling your spine. Instead, keep that nice strong spine throughout. He's now moving the other way with it. So typically you want to do, anywhere between 5 and 10 each direction. 10 if you have a whole lot of time, 5 if you don't. Back into some skips here. Opposite an arm and leg, working together. He's increased his speed a little bit. As you go through your warm-ups, you want to increase your speed, increase your range of motion of your movements. Now, most of you are familiar with this exercise, going into a squat. Each time, getting a little deeper with the squat, increasing his range of motion, just like we've been talking about. Make sure your weight is going into the heels on that. Help protect your knees. And now a front to back, forward to reverse lunge. Stepping forward, dropping back, maintaining a tall upper body. He's not allowing himself to fold over at the hips. He's also making sure that lead knee isn't diving out past his toes. Anytime the knee starts getting past the toes, you're going to start putting a lot more strain on the knee. So you want to make sure you're taking a big step, dropping that back knee down towards the ground. Don't smash your knee off the ground. And these are heel-toe raises. The tendency is to allow the hips to shoot back. Don't allow that to happen. Keep the hips forward. We want all the action coming through the ankle. Push up on those toes and then actively pull up on your toes as you roll back on the heels.
Next, we have the squat step lateral. The key here is to stay nice and low. Make sure you're walking in a straight line laterally. You're going to go down into a squat position. Load up the trailing leg, step out with the leading leg, switch the weight to the leading leg, and then pull the trail leg back in.
Going into a knee hug march, staying nice and tall again. Driving that knee up, activating the hip flexor as you do so. And then at the top of the movement, stretching through that hamstring. Now that you've worked out the back of the leg, it's time to work out and stretch the front of the leg. So he's activating the hamstring now, and then stretching the front of the leg. He's now moving into a straight leg march. Greater range of motion here. Really starting to stretch through those hamstrings even more. Maintaining that tall body position. Nice straight body line from that down leg up through knee, hip, and ear, and going opposite arm, opposite leg. That's being followed up with an inverted toe touch. Trying to keep as straight a leg as you can on that stabilizing leg. There's a lot of stabilization involved in this if you give it a try. And you're wanting to make sure the pivot's happening at the hips, but that you're leading with the heels. We don't want you to start getting into a V pointing down towards the ground. Instead, we want to make sure you're maintaining a straight body line from heel to knee to hip, shoulder and ear. Going back to that lateral movement work, going back to his side slides here. Staying bouncy on the feet, keeping a nice rhythm going. And now he's starting to increase his effort. This is a build-up. He started slow, nice jog, and then increased more to a sprint at the end of that effort. And he's coming up with some butt kicks here, flicking those heels high and fast. I'm sure you're all familiar with these. And he is about finished. He's going into some sagittal leg swings, really making sure he's taking that body through a big range of motion. You never want the first time that body goes through a big range of motion to be when you're cold. So here he's gradually raised his heart rate, he's gradually increased his range of motion, and he's ready to rock and roll.